Hi, I'm Suresh Venkat at Social Media Week in Mumbai. I'm in conversation with Scott Lamb, Vice President, BuzzFeed. Scott, welcome to India.
Thank you very much.
First question, what are you doing in India?
So I'm here for the launch of BuzzFeed India.
Okay.
We've launched a team here in Mumbai who's been focusing on doing Indian content for us. And last month we launched the front page for BuzzFeed India. So this is sort of our kickoff event.
Which then brings me to my second question. What is BuzzFeed doing in India?
So BuzzFeed has been slowly expanding globally over the last year or so. And when we look for places to come, we look for places that are culturally vibrant, that have a real impact culturally on the world. And also places where we know social media is very, very powerful. So we looked at Mumbai. You know, Bollywood is here. A lot of ideas and culture are coming out of Mumbai for not just India but for the globe. Also, India has over 100 million people on Facebook. So we thought, you know, that's our #1 platform. That's very exciting for us.
Okay, so let's understand a few things about BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed is a web portal, from what I understand, a news website. But you also consider Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to be platforms. How do you distinguish between who you are and what is a platform?
I think because we're a source that creates content. BuzzFeed is a platform in some sense that anyone can sign up for an account on BuzzFeed and make a post. You could go tomorrow and start writing cat lists if you wanted to. But platforms.
These are actual cat lists, just for the record, not catalysts. They are lists of things that cats do.
Exactly.
Which is pretty popular on BuzzFeed.
Yes, it's an enduring format for us.
Okay.
But platforms we really look at as places where people are coming together to share either photos on Instagram or photos and updates on Facebook. They're really where people are sharing content. So we create the content. It's sort of like we're the train and Facebook is the tracks, and
okay.
they've laid the route for us to get out into the world.
Okay, that's a good definition of what you do. How's Social Media Week been for you here in Mumbai?
It's been fantastic so far. I've seen a few great panels, met a lot of people. I'm talking to a lot of people today. I think we've had a good response to my talk and to the panel that we're doing here. It's been
Anything
fantastic.
about Social Media Week, the people you met here in Mumbai, surprised you? Anything that you thought that isn't as the way you thought it would be?
I was expecting a little more conversation around chat apps like WeChat and WhatsApp and Line. That's just something that I'm super excited about right now, and I thought they'd be a little bit bigger here, but people seem still very focused on Twitter and Facebook. I mean, I understand why they're very huge here, but that surprised me a little bit.
Nation of WhatsApp junkies, so that's a bit surprising. We love WhatsApp.
I think it's because for me, as an American, WhatsApp is fairly new, and for India, it's old. It's not a hot topic anymore because it's been around and so popular for a long time. I'm still trying to get my head around it a little bit.
The 4 words that everybody in Indian media hates, everybody in social media hates, everybody working in a corporate company hates, everybody in an advertising agency hates, in a filmmaking world hates, is let's make this go viral. Right? And you're one of the few companies that actually does make things go viral. What's wrong with the sentence, let's make this go viral?
I think it's almost impossible to start from a place of saying we're going to make something that's going to go viral. I think it's the wrong way to think about making content that people share. You want to make something that's good and it's something that speaks to some part of you. If it resonates with you, if you're out with friends at lunch and you make a joke or bring up a topic and everyone's suddenly speaking about it, you know that it's very likely that people are going to share it. So I think I totally understand why people hate that sentence, because it usually means the thing that we're talking about is not going to go viral. Mm-hmm. It's almost impossible to demand that virality happen. It's really a series of experiments and looking for things that have certain viral characteristics, surprise, and emotional content, something that people are going to want to share to express themselves or to share a joke with other people. And that's usually a sort of a slightly different thing than maybe what an advertiser wants to make with a video about their product.
Usually on a very low budget, because that's when
Yeah.
they say. Scott, my next question to you concerns the idea of virality and memes on the internet. Almost everybody we see seems to be showing off about the size of their viral following or the number of reshares or their meme abilities. If so many people are going to be sharing so many things that get reshared so many times, does it sort of take the charm away from something that goes viral or creating something unique?
I think it has definitely made it more difficult. 5 years ago, not that many people were trying to make memes, not that many brands were on the web trying to make content. They didn't think of themselves as publishers. So it was easier for people to break through. We definitely, at BuzzFeed, we track memes, we look for them, and meme culture has definitely changed a lot over the last couple of years, I think exactly because of this thing. It sort of reached the mainstream and it was a little less special. I don't think, though, overall that the power of the notion of social media has really gone away at all. One question we often get at BuzzFeed is, are you worried about being so reliant on Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest for traffic? And we certainly are sometimes concerned about being reliant on one particular platform, but the notion that people are going to want to share media as a way of connecting themselves with one another, of making jokes, of just expressing who they are, I think that's not going to go away anytime soon.
Speaking of sharing, we hear a lot of people who are saying, I'm on a digital detox, I don't touch my gadgets after 6, I don't touch them on weekends. Do you think it's an idea that's gone too far and people are going to actually start pulling back, similar to the way they pull back from different kinds of diets and they go back to a more basic fruits and vegetables diet?
I think that the world is still trying to figure out how technology should fit into our lives. So I think there may be a thing where we pull back and then we get crazy about it again, then we pull back, and eventually we'll find that middle ground. But it's also new. We still haven't figured it out.
A couple of questions about BuzzFeed itself now. Now, you self-admittedly are not you're format agnostic, or you're in love with multiple formats. You have quizzes, you have long form articles, you have listicles, you have photographs, you have all sorts of different formats.
Yeah.
Are you worried at BuzzFeed that in trying to be too many things to too many people, you'll actually won't mean anything to anybody?
No, I think formats are one thing. I think people are very happy to consume news or entertainment in multiple different formats. I think for us, the bigger concern is that we're a very small news organization. So we can't cover every news story. We can't cover the world. We have to be very selective about the types of stories that we do, and really go after things that we think we can make something interesting, something valuable. That, I think, is where I get more worried. The BBC, for instance, is a massive news organization. They can really cover the world, everything that's going on there. BuzzFeed isn't at that scale yet, so that's where we need to be very thoughtful and a little bit more specific. When it comes to formats, I think we can do and try as many things as we need to. We need to constantly be coming up with new formats to keep ahead of everyone.
And your 150 million monthly unique users are a testimony to the fact that different kinds of content are actually working.
Yeah.
Right. Let me talk about the positioning of BuzzFeed. There are the traditional media organizations, there is the traditional television organization, and the traditional internet news organizations. BuzzFeed seems to be the rogue elephant in between all this. You have fingers in every pie. So how do you define yourself? Are you a news organization? Are you a social news organization? Are you a sharing company for social interests?
We call ourselves a media company for, a social media company for entertainment and news. Okay. So we think of ourselves as really doing both. We really are a news gathering organization. We also do entertainment, the same way that a television network in the United States has the nightly news and they have sitcoms. BuzzFeed wants to be able to do both.
Going forward, if you were to be back at Social Media Week India in the next 2 or 3 years, how would you like to see this platform grow?
BuzzFeed specifically?
Yes.
I hope that in 2 or 3 years we're able to get into doing news gathering, long form, into video here in India. Our initial plans are really to focus on the lightweight, the fun stuff, even if it's about a heavy topic, of doing lists and quizzes, things that we think will really resonate so we can grow readership. But my hope is that in 2 years' time we've really blossomed into a news organization here as well.
And how would you like to see Social Media Week itself grow? How would you like to see it transform into something else?
I'd like to see just an increasingly wide array of voices who are coming to Social Media Week, for it really to be a place for all sorts of players, from the marketing side to the news side to the independent blogger, coming together to talk about what's going on in social media.
And in India, we have independent voices in a plethora of languages as well. I imagine that's an area of interest to BuzzFeed as well, reaching out to Indians in multiple languages.
Yeah, no, that's going to be a very exciting but very challenging move for us. We've started doing multiple languages elsewhere. We have a French, Spanish, and Portuguese edition. We're going to be launching in German fairly soon. Japanese is maybe not too far down the road. So we have some experience with working in other languages, but India, I think, is a very particular challenge because there are so many to choose from, and really there's this huge readership out there outside of the very large English reading language readership that we need to figure out how to reach.
In your talk, you spoke about clickbaiting, where you click on a link that thinks it's going to lead you to something else. This one secret will change your life forever. And you click on it and then you're just saying, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But the web seems to be full of screaming headlines that are out-shouting each other for competition, almost like the tabloids of the 80s and 90s, and that said UFOs land in your backyard, open the page now. Is there a sense of fatigue with web headlines, and are people going to get turned off and say, okay, I'm done, I'm not even going to click on links anymore?
I mean, I do think that it's a very short-sighted strategy for publishers. I think there's something much more disappointing about clicking on a link and not getting the story that you expected than going to a tabloid and you know the stories. You're like, I know what this is going to be. I do think that for publishers who just use clickbait headlines to get clicks, they're not going to see much growth. It's a reason that we focus on sharing. Getting clicks is one thing, but having a person come to your site, read your story, and be so entertained or moved or informed that they then say, I want to share this with people in my social circle. There's really no trick to that. The content has to be very good, has to be very high quality. So it's important for us not to oversell it and not to oversell the links. I wonder what's going to happen. I think that we've already seen sort of a backlash to these headlines, and Facebook has changed their algorithm, I think, specifically to try and deal with this particular problem. I do imagine it's always going to be a part of the web ecosystem in the same way that tabloids are always going to be a part of the news ecosystem. Yeah.
Scott Lamb, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you, Suresh, so much.